welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Thanks for watching our show. We appreciate you watching it locally on Bethel Park, Comcast 7. A lot of great feedback in the community. Hello to all our neighbors and friends. Verizon 32, everywhere in the Pittsburgh area. Appreciate it. Also Bethel Park and the city of Pittsburgh and throughout the area. Thanks for all the likes at Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook. 3,470 likes. We appreciate it. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Chip the Prophet Hayner is not here. He has a little substitute, Darth. And then Smoking Jim Frazier, we just got word he's running late. There must be traffic coming from Monroeville. And Zach Brenner made it on time. Or Jason, I'm not sure. Halloween's what, the 31st? This might be a little early. So we'll see what happens. We always start our show out with, it is a sports talk show. We start talking about sports and what's on our mind. And since we're missing Chip's at the Fleetwood Mac concert with his wife Stephanie, so they're having some fun. And we'll carry on without him. Smoking Jim should be arriving sometime within the next half an hour, we assume. So we're going to start without him. Here we go. Zach Brenner, what's on your mind?
Well, Al Levine, the talking machine. What's on my mind tonight, folks? We got a couple things. I'm only supposed to limit it to one, but that never seems to happen like it should. The number one thing on my mind tonight is the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have a big game this weekend coming up against the Houston Texans, who have been a little bit surprising this season, to say the least, under the first-year guidance of the last Penn State head coach, which his name is Levine.
Who's that?
The coach of the Texans. He used to coach the...
I forget now. That's your segment.
All right, so I couldn't ask Levine for...
When you have a segment, you're supposed to be prepared for it, buddy.
No, that's not the segment that I'm supposed to be prepared for.
What are
It
you?
was just what's on my mind.
Okay.
Anyways, to say the least,
Okay.
the Texans are coming into town, and Mike Tomlin held his weekly press conference this week. I listened to it, so apparently I did a little bit of my homework. I listened to the whole
Hold it, wasn't I with
press
you?
conference, and it just gets real tiring listening to Coach Tomlin week after week praise all the other players verbatim on the other team. I feel instead of praising all the other players on the other team, he should focus more on getting his own players' acts together, because like Smoking Jim keeps alluding to, the Steelers don't want to be great, they just want to be 8-8. But I still am sticking firm with 10-6. My fellow co-host Al Levine, the Talking Machine, has backtracked from his 11-5 prediction.
I have to. Sorry to interrupt your what's on your mind, but I think
There's only
anybody...
two of us.
I know. Anybody that made an 11-5 prediction like me, that was like Pollyanna and the eternal optimist, now you're at 3-3. It means they got to win 8 games more somehow. I'm not really seeing it with the 3 games at home that are coming up right now. And Houston's one of the ones I'm worried about. And, I don't believe in betting, and I tell you don't bet if you didn't start. But it's a 3.5 point favorite that the Steelers are. We're giving 3.5 points to the Texans, and I don't see us stopping them. Maybe they'll pull that miracle out like I thought they would last week and beat Cleveland. But they missed on about 4 big plays and couldn't stop much, so just outrageous, Zach.
Well, like I said, I'm just... Mike Tomlin never ceases to amaze me, and just the lack of emotion. He's a very passionate guy. I understand he has a very high football IQ, so to speak, but that doesn't necessarily translate into leadership, as you alluded to earlier in the day. And certainly,
Thank you, sir.
certainly, it's not trickling down to the players, to say the least. They don't have any fear of him. They don't have any fear of getting taken out of the game. They don't have any fear of missing a game, getting sat down. Bell and Blunt got arrested, and they still played in the game, the preseason game. So,
and they even had a 100-plus yard running game, both of them at the same time.
So my final point with the Steelers tonight, aside from just my dysfunction with Mike Tomlin, is that for once the running game is the number 2 running game in all of the National Football League.
Right.
And so the offensive line is playing better than it was last year. It has a little bit of cohesion. There hasn't been like a major injury. One guy hasn't accidentally taken out the other. So that's always a positive.
Excuse me, yes.
I just feel that the defense needs to step it up a little bit. The offense, the running game is there. We know about the passing game now. If Ben and his wide receivers could get on the same page, I heard that him and Marcus Wheaton called each other or spoke to each other and they sat down and watched the film. So hopefully those two could get on the same page. We know 84 is going to come, every Sunday. So, that's just what's on my mind. I'm really concerned about the Steelers, and hopefully we can right the ship against the Texans. We seem to play better against better football teams, and we play terrible against the worst football teams. I'll never understand it, but that's what's on my mind, folks.
It's been traditional, Zach. Well, I appreciate what's on your mind. Some of what's on my mind is there. Sure, we have some positive things with the Penguins, 2-0. That's one thing on my mind. But the Steelers are at the top of my mind. We just posted up yesterday's show, our last official show, even though it's the second show that was our last show at Sips. Sips is being sold, so we will be moving to another location. I should be announcing it on Facebook tomorrow night, sometime late. I'll get approval of that, and we'll be moving there, and it'll be somewhere in the South Hills. So we'll let you know about that. And getting back to the Steelers, I happened to be with Zach today, and we heard the same conference call from Tomlin talking about everything he did. And then later on we heard about Ben saying Wheaton called him up and wanted to watch film with him. Well, I don't know, how many games into the season are we here? I think we got 6 games in, so for the 7th game they want to look at film together. And Big Ben doesn't want to take the blame. He says he does, but a lot of his passes weren't where they should have been. And that's what I saw during the game throughout. It was a few big plays that could have helped, a few drop passes. And one of the things that stuck in my mind, Zach, wasn't Joe Hayden, or is that his name, Joe Hayden?
The cornerback for the Cleveland Browns.
He was injured. He was coming off an injury, and they weren't picking on him. Now, what team in the NFL doesn't pick on a cornerback who's guarding your top receiver who owns him the last how many games? That I thought was odd, that I don't care about the stats. We know guys like to pad him, but whatever else. Why didn't AB have about 12 catches in the first half? That's what I found unusual. Let me interrupt this live broadcast for Smoking Jim Frazier has arrived. Glad you could make it. Luckily, it's not raining out there yet. It may be like a tornado with those high winds.
Ooh, I was wondering.
That's what's going on. You've got to be careful even when you're in God's little country out there where nothing affects you.
So that show was live today. I was watching.
Which one?
With the new book sale.
No.
Oh, okay.
That was over a week ago. Just plug that in. How's your mic? Testing. Give a test on him. Is he all right? This is live TV, folks. Appreciate all of you watching our show. Sometimes this happens. We're just glad Smoking Jim made it. I'll continue what's on my mind. I was saying how Antonio Brown didn't have a dozen catches in the first half. You had an injured cornerback, and they didn't pick on him. Just some odd things like that. So I'm wondering, the blame goes on the whole team, top to bottom. There's nobody that's blameless on this. Who knows what's going to happen next week? I'm still optimistic, although I'm backtracking from 11-5. I can't see 11-5 with this team. I'm actually going down to about 9-7 because I don't want to say they're not great. They just want to be 8-8.
You already missed
With that segue,
tell me you already missed that.
with that segue, we already had Little Z said that. Now you had the talking machine said it. Now you got the originator. Smoking Jim Frazier. What's on your mind besides traffic and running late?
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. And I tell you what, that was my my option quarterback.
Which you
days.
never
I was
used.
yeah, I always kept
Bill
it,
Neal
brother.
told me that off the record. He said all he wanted to do is run. And he could run, even when he was 5 years old.
Thanks, Al. I appreciate it.
Well, it's true.
But what's on my mind is J.J. Watt.
Who's he play for?
In the Houston Texans. And, just give a quick rundown from the schedule.
No, take your time. Chip's not here today.
Chip's
We got a
not-
substitute.
well,
He's
I
at the
thought-
Fleetwood Mac concert with Stephanie.
Oh, okay. I thought we had another brother in the house. But
Oh, he's looking.
Oh, he pointed that out too, folks. Hey,
Let him do his
do your
thing.
thing, do your thing.
East West.
Do your thing, do your thing.
But hey, a couple things people don't realize from J.J. Watt. One is the guy's tremendously athletic. Back in the combines, he ran a 4.840, which is moving for a guy close to 300 pounds. He bench pressed 225, 34 reps, which would tie the Pittsburgh Steelers records, probably a Houston Texan record. So not only is he quick, he's strong. In 6 games, he got 3 touchdowns, and he's a defensive end. He's earning that money, every bit of that money. But a lot of people don't realize if you coming out of high school, he's only a 2-star athlete. Coming out of high school in Wisconsin, only had 1 scholarship offer to Central Michigan as a tight end.
Wow.
Got play time as a tight end, and if he'd have stayed there 1 more year, he'd have been a tight end on one side, and Antonio Brown would have been the wide receiver. But he transferred to Wisconsin. Rest was history. Went 11th pick overall in the first round, and the things he's doing really is not surprising anybody. But that defense got more than him. You got Ryan Pickett, who's kind of old right now as a nose guard, 14 years out of Ohio State. Javion Clowney may be back this week. Whenever you
Of
say
course.
his name.
Just say Clowney.
Yeah, Clowney, and what a great athlete. Him on one side, J.J. Watt on the other. But a guy I love, I'm not sure, I haven't watched Houston this year, but he was one of the best middle linebackers in the league before he got hurt, is Matt Cushing, USC guy, first-round pick. And offensively, of course, you got Andre Johnson. He's been around for a long time. Arian Foster is going to be a tough guy to run the football. And, of course, Ryan Fitzpatrick is quarterback. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers got a shot this week. You got to score more than 10 points. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers coming back home, usually they play a little better after a loss, which is every other week. And Monday Night Football against the Houston Texans, I think it's going to be a great game. And I give the Pittsburgh Steelers the edge going in this week, and that's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. And they're giving 3.5 points.
Who is giving?
Steelers.
Their favorite?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I didn't know that. Ooh.
You didn't check with Las Vegas. They called me.
I wasn't going to be putting no money on the game anyhow on that game.
Yeah, because your heart's in it. You're either with the Steelers or against them. Last week you were against them. All over the internet, Smoking Jim said they're going to lose by 14 points. Are you with me or against me, and why? My hat goes off to you. You were right.
Hey, thanks, Al. Being the talking machine, I appreciate that.
I didn't know they were going to be that bad, though. Well, since you come late to what we were talking about was basically Steelers, and we did have a question. Do you know who the Houston Texans coach is?
Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
From Penn State.
Yeah.
Formerly part of Belichick's staff in New England, so he's definitely a cheater.
He knows all about that.
I'm confused. How do you cheat in the NFL with the rules they have?
You videotape the other team's walkthrough, and you know what's coming. You know what you're looking for.
I'm naive on this stuff. I can't believe that
You
happened.
see the sets, you see the packages, you see the personnel groupings, you see
Omaha.
basically.
Omaha. A guy's telling you Omaha all the time. Why can't they figure that out?
Speaking naive, man, if you watch part of, I was able to catch part of Coach Tomlin's press conference, And one thing, one rule, and Coach Tomlin will play the rule all the way down, is these guys act like they don't know what's going on in the media. Well, Hines Ward, who I think heard what Coach Cowher said, because he almost said exactly what Coach Cowher said, word for word.
Right.
And both of them called the Steeler defense soft. And
you know who they got that from?
Who?
Smoking Jim Frazier.
There you go. Thanks.
You're the only one that texted me that over the last 3 years when you're there in the Steeler draft day in the war room. And folks, check the videos. We got over 250 of them.
Woo!
He says it all the time.
And so I guess it took those guys about 3 years to catch up to what we already knew. But somebody asked Coach Tomlin towards the end of his press conference, they says, well, what do you think about these coaches and ex-players, saying about your team? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, he said they're on the outside looking in.
First he says, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So make them say who it was.
Right.
Well, Coach Cowher and Hines Ward, he basically said they were outside looking in.
He's only going to concern himself with the individuals that are on the roster and part of the organization.
He said the right answer.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But good well he's heard.
What do you mean? They called him up, I'll bet.
Yeah.
The main thing that I asked myself about the Rooney Rule and Coach Tomlin is that how much coaching is Mike Tomlin actually allowed to do? How much say does Mike Tomlin actually have? In my opinion, I feel like he doesn't have very much say, and he doesn't have very much authority. He's pretty much just a figurehead, in my opinion, that doesn't, he's like a puppet that Art Rooney II pulls the strings on pretty much to stay coach in the National Football League as a head coach.
You almost have a unanimous.
That's the only thing I could rationalize in the responses and some of the actions, because he says we own the tape, we own the tape, the tape is the tape, the standard is the standard, yada yada yada, whatever. Well, go back and start watching some of this stuff and put it together. Put it together. We got the number 2 rushing team in the National Football League, and
in spite of the coaches,
and you would you wouldn't think so, by the position we're in right now, and the play calling is questionable. So now to make it even more confusing, Ben Roethlisberger is accused of changing the play 75% of the time. So we really don't know what is actually being called, and then you look at the defense, and there's these glaring assignments that are blown. Troy's all over the place. It's a real conundrum, and I really hope they get it figured out down there.
Well, I'm going to go with another C word on this. I brought it out last night. Conspiracy. The Penguin players got rid of a coach because of their lack of play. Mary Lemieux had a history of doing that. Mm-hmm. What if Big Ben's passes aren't so crisp anymore? How do you miss Wheaton when he's wide open, and then when he's close to you, you're throwing a 100-mile-an-hour fastball a little bit behind him? You can't catch those. And he did catch 4 of them, so, hats off there. But how do you miss these guys downfield? 2 or 3 of those passes would have led to touchdowns. There's no doubt about it. I'm not speculating. He normally makes those. He had an off day, and I see more of those off days coming.
Listen,
Haley's still here.
Let's go back. Let's take it back to the first quarter. I'll take it back to the first quarter.
All right.
We went down. We settled for a field goal. We held them. We got the ball back. There was a point in that game in the first half where the Cleveland Browns had a stat line that read 0, -7, -8.
Yeah.
So the defense wasn't playing too bad at that point in time. But what happened in Cleveland is this is what the Steelers are always guilty of when we talk about playing down to their composition. You should have had 14 points on the 2 drives that you had in the red zone, and you came away with a field goal. And I don't know what happened. It was a botch snap. If it was a fake, I never got confirmation.
It was no fake. What happened is he double clutched that when he caught it. It slipped, then he put it back down. There was no fake. They showed it close, but nobody was really saying. The announcers were confused because that's why they're announcers. They didn't, whether they played or not. It was quite obvious. They just sent it back there. Now, whether he got paid so heavy money over there.
So you're accusing Trent Green of being confused?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, without a doubt.
Oh, well, he's clearly taking a lot of shots today.
Bias against the Steelers?
Yes, but why would you say that's even a fake? There was nobody trying to block. You had nobody run out from the line. Now, I've watched football most of my life, Now, why didn't anybody bring that up, which I'm bringing out tonight
Right.
for the first time? I didn't hear this comment,
Right. That's
and I'm
true.
like, how could I be the only guy that noticed the line? Because I played center.
Mm-hmm.
When I would hike a ball, if it was not a fake, I would stay right there and hope I didn't get crushed too bad because they didn't care if they hit you
Right.
back then.
Yeah,
Now they don't hit
took
the
a
center.
running- They took a running
So
start at
we
the center.
always have
Yeah.
to try to hit them. So all the linemen stayed there. Look at the video. The linemen were all there. The only one, Sweezum, stopped, and then he's looking like, oh no, I'm going to die.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he got out of there.
Don't give it to me.
Exactly. He turned away. But the line stayed right in their position. There was no fake. And no coach has ever come out and said there was a fake.
Right.
Because they can't.
Right.
The tape doesn't lie. And there is no standard this year, just so you know. When you're not winning, there's no standard. It's on the wall, because we've seen it on the wall at the Steeler, facilities.
And there's no walking past 6 Lombardi trophies.
No, you can't. Somebody stole one. No. But Zach,
Green Bay.
Well, my point is, you look at some of the passes that Ben made. They ran 13 running plays. So that's almost insane with what you had in the red zone and everything else. There should have been some more passes.
There
You
should have been some more emphasis on let's punch the ball in, down there in the red zone. We're
Well, let me
deficient.
give you a
We're
little-
having an awful season in the red zone, and what do? We
Let me
continue
give
to
you a
settle
little
for field
theory
goals.
on why it's awful. The line isn't that good. They can open up a few holes when you have a big field ahead of you. Think about it. You have 80 yards ahead of you. We had
There's a substantial amount of early draft picks that have been utilized on that offensive line. So at some point, we just got to keep drafting first round. We're like the Pirates of 10 years ago. We keep drafting pitchers and the number one pitcher every year. Now we got to keep drafting offensive line. Mike Adams didn't pan out. When are they going
There's a
to step
reason.
to the podium and admit
Look
that
to the
he's a
left.
bust?
Look to the left. What did he say from the beginning? You missed it. I think you were around when he first was here and they drafted him. He said he's soft. He shouldn't even be drafted. He begged to be on the team. I'm not going to smoke dope. And then everybody else is. So, I don't know what's going on. How did these things happen? I'm a conspiracy guy. Prove me wrong. How does Ben throw all these bad passes in one game against Cleveland? He's 18-1.
Good point. Good point.
What
You're
happened?
saying that Ben is pulling a Shoeless Joe?
Well, I always here's what not Shoeless Joe, because he had great statistics. Big Ben used to be a stat man in my book. I would always talk during the game. I go, boy, this is amazing. We just did 5 bubble screen passes, and 3 of them lost yards. So what did that do? Okay, he had 18 out of 20 passes completed, and the last 3, they lost yardage. That's a stat man. No, we're not a stat man, because we got Haley calling the plays. As guys say, I'm just saying. Think about it. I've been holding back, but we're almost halfway in the season.
So you're putting you're saying that Big Ben is purposely tanking.
Oh, there's no doubt, because he likes that no huddle that's aggressive. They won't let him throw. They said he threw too many the week before. So what did they do this week? They reined him in. They said, you're calling running plays. Guess what he likes? Passing plays. He's going to pout. He's a $100 million quarterback. He's been entitled his whole life, except for having to get married, having to have 2 kids, and look like a family man. And that's on the record, because that wouldn't have come out of nowhere. So that's part of my point. You can think about it. It's a little crazy, but when you're talking making sense, how does it make sense with all the top draft picks that they've had? And you're talking, these are guys at schools that did well, and we can't have a consistent running play, except we have guys that lost weight, so now they can run faster, and they tiptoe around and they shoot through the hole. That's great. But when you get in the red zone, there's not as much room to do that. That's part of what's going on. I don't have to be an NFL scout, just a fan of the team. And these are the things that are happening. A smaller field makes it more difficult to hide your flaws. The flaws aren't disappearing. They're still there. And am I a Steeler fan? Definitely. Look, I got some gold that's coming out. The black's still in here. But no, that's part of my point here, Zach. And that's why we disagree on this. We have our opinions. and the facts will be the facts. When the team wins or loses, well, that's not a good sign.
Jeez, Levine, you're so brutal over there.
Keep it on your table. This one's been shaky. Look at this. It still doesn't fit. I'm the only one that has one that it's not secure here. Look at you guys. Me and Chip have this. Yeah.
BC.
No, you didn't have anything. That's Devin Shea in there. He's a winner. He got the right table for us. We got Tiger the Kiger on cameras here doing a great job in his Gumby shirt. We appreciate it. Well, that was our revisitation. Unless you have some more, we can go.
Yeah, I think we should. Let's talk about our final second show at Sips last night.
All right. We had our final show at Sips. They sold out. It's going to be a Thai Chinese sushi restaurant from what I hear, but they may still be open for another week. We heard, come on out.
Hibachi?
Could be hibachi because we heard you like that. We're not sure.
Huge fan.
We didn't get all the updates, but it was another last show there. The first last show 2 weeks ago was a much better show, but we had a great guest on there who's a legend, and he made a major announcement, which you don't normally hear in the sports world and the fundraising community and everything. Bill Neal was just fantastic. We let him roll for about 25 minutes or so, and he did a great job. He didn't disappoint. Watch that on Pittsburgh Sportsline. See last night's show. I posted it up already. Make sure you hear Smokin' Jim's opening again when he talks Steelers. You might even hear, you already know what he says. But check it out again. He put a couple twists with it. But getting back to Bill Neal, he has, you can explain, Champion Enterprises, which has been a nonprofit for years. Now he's starting a new organization. Like he said, how did Michael Jackson do it? How did Michael Jordan do it? And all these other stars, they reinvent themselves. So that's what he's doing right now. Look for things after December 1st. He's talking about partnering up with us on some events. We're looking at special events. He's starting a for-profit company. So we'll have some updates on that when he comes around. So Smokin' Jim can give you more details. He might be back in the team. I don't know. But it was a great night. Mario Tempest come out. And then Smokin' Jim, I had the best meatball hoagie last night. Pete the chef was fantastic. I think he put an extra slice of provolone on mine and sauce. But it was a great run we had there. But Sips is done. We're not done. I wanted to tell everybody that, thanks for watching and all the great feedback. Thanks to Bethel Park, Dave Cable. I was just talking with him the other day that we're now 3 years doing this show. Smokin' Jim and I are two of the original cast members. We've since put a couple other guys on there, but it's 3 years this week that we've done it. It was 10/11/11 that we first ventured out and did this. And, we're so thankful. I'm blessed to be able to do this each week, and hope you enjoy the Talking Machine, Smokin' Jim Frazier, Little Z, Chip the Prophet Hayner, and all the guests we've had. We start tallying it up, and we're at almost 300 guests. Since February of 2013, including Zach.
You can't forget about
I can't.
Zach.
We have a record, like Joe DiMaggio has a record, and Zach has a record of his own. He's the only one to show up after he wondered who I was and who Smokin' Jim was after a Rod Salka fight. So we owe this to Rod Salka. Without Rod Salka, without Smokin' Jim announcing and saying, hey, Talking Machine, you want to come with me? Just tell him you're with me. Well, that got me in some serious trouble because 8 other people come in first. And they didn't know who I was, but we come in, and that's what helped start this and moved it forward. Zach come in on our second show at Sips, 33 weeks in a row. He set the all-time Sips record for guest appearances, and he was late on almost half of them. Because believe it or not, he's one of the hardest working contractors in the area. You just can't believe what he does. He won't fix the table over here, but Bethel Park hasn't signed him up yet. To me, I'm a conspiracy guy, as you know. And Darth, we're going to have to sit you down because your head might fall off. But let's put a mask on you because we believe in all these props. So now we're all set up for this. We can handle anything.
Chips at Fleetwood Mac.
Looks good.
There we go. Black and white. Black and yellow we were. But no, it's been fun. We got Zach on board. He ended up becoming a regular guest, as you know. We got Z Time on Monday nights. We got a lot of great conversation with Zach. He brings a whole different attitude to the show, which you can see I don't mind arguing with him or anybody else, but we do have respect here, and we just continue on with it. And Zach was on whoa, there's that ghost. Happy Halloween. Zach was on double secret probation for about 12 weeks till I got a lot of pressure from the Munhall Homestead community that we had to set him free. So he's on his own being a guest and has done a lot of things. And to show how we branched out from just Pittsburgh Sportsline, Smoking Jim got us into boxing and going in all kind of areas, and did some great work and footwork that he laid down for the last 15 years. He's on Steel City Sports World once a month. Check him out on that show on PCTV in downtown Pittsburgh. He does a great job there with the guys there, and he's on once a month doing that. He's as consistent as they could be. Rain, shine, being late, snow, whatever. He shows up. It's closer to his house too, but he has more times not being late there. But I'm just saying here. So, and he's helped broaden our horizons for Pittsburgh Sportsline. And I never thought we'd be in every community from Pittsburgh all the way out to the suburbs. You know, we did start a magazine last October 17th. We had a great party at the Savoy. I mean, how many people can say they're doing things like this? You know, we have a Facebook page, gets between 1,000 and 9,000 people a day just coming there. So we appreciate it. We have a website domain name, pittsburghsportsline.com, but we didn't feel a need for the website yet, but we have over 250 plus videos, probably 260, 270, and we need a spot to put them there, so we may come up with a website soon. And then we're going to do more things. We got things like promoting some prizes and other things for people for liking our page and numerous things, and maybe guest hosts once in a while. And we're looking for sponsorships. You know, we're getting different media things out there and a lot of interest. We're going to at least 2 new bars. You already know we're in River City Inn. We already had our first show there in downtown Pittsburgh. It's an honor to be in Pittsburgh as Pittsburgh Sportsline goes. So, I mean, you know, these are all great things. I know it may bore you since we're supposed to talk about sports, but on our anniversary week, I thought I'd just bring some of you up, and plus this will be on YouTube forever, so you get to hear some of these things. Now, I also started a show, Interviews with the Talking Machine. Now, to show you how Smoking Jim tells us we have good karma, Joanne Forrester, a friend of mine, advertiser in the magazine and a great supporter of our show, guest on our show, wrote a book, Gift of Holiday Valley. No, it's not in Monroeville. It's in some imaginary place. It's a children's book. Well, on Thursday, she's in a competition. She's already guaranteed, Smoking Jim, one of the top 3 places.
Really?
Yes. And even though I read her bio, because they handed it to me 2 minutes before the show, I never read anything on here.
I was watching you on TV reading it this morning.
I know. Smoking Jim points out all these things. That's all I can do. And what I also wanted to announce is Zach Brenner. What happened? You okay? No mic?
No, I'm good. I got
I
audio.
found an extra one.
No, he doesn't have audio.
How do you know?
Because I got a message from the control.
Okay.
I'm one of the few cast members that got an earpiece.
I know. Well, it's hidden in my hair. I just can't find it. So we also had a new show start for the first time. Zach Brenner is doing an interview. It's an exclusive interview with the Rod Salka camp. So we had that. And then Smoking Jim, we didn't get a chance to tell you this, but you may have heard that we did boxing on Saturday night. I got a call at 5 minutes after 11 from Ted Mercanja for their event. So we ended up doing boxing. I had to scramble to get a camera. We already had lessons because Zach and I learned how to run the cameras. We did a show out in California, PA. Then we had to come back and we did a show at the River City Inn before that. And then we did boxing. Smoking Jim, we let it rip. We just set it up and just filmed. We don't know how it's going to come out. Dave Cable's working on it. But we announced the fights there. And it was at a great venue.
You didn't have a camera person?
No.
Wow.
That's what I'm telling you. It was last second.
We set it up ourselves.
It was truly last minute, so that's what we do. We're expanding no matter what. So when people loved what we do, they were asking about you. I said, You know, I didn't get a chance to get a hold of him because we didn't even know if we could do it. Because, you know, we like to have cameras. You come from a neighborhood where the show's sometimes produced, but I'm still looking for that one 3 Super Bowls ago. I was on there. Won't mention all the names, but I wondered why there was a jacket over top of the camera. A guy told me about that. It was during the show, and I saw it. I'm like, whoa, we never have it happen. So we have some things going on. There'll be more boxing. We're also in MMA. It's a violent sport, but there's a lot of great people that do fundraising and help children and other people in our community. So what we're saying is if anybody has interest with fundraising, you want to come on our show, get a hold of us. We also have another public access announcement here. We'll be at Stone Pepper's Grill for the 4th time. And it's been a great show. I just posted that up on Facebook. We got about 20 extra people that normally don't go. They're coming. So we're going to have some fun there. It's 7 o'clock till 10. It's after the happy hour, and it's with Jessica Lee, Mark Strickland, her band, and other performers. And we always have a great innovative guest there. And we do a mini show, about 15 minutes of us smoking Jim, Zach, and I. If he can make it, Zach's there. If not, you know, he's out there on a roof or in a trench somewhere. So give him a call. You know, Brenner Contracting. I won't bring the towel out. It's not that clean anymore. So. Hey, and that's part of what I wanted to update you. And I am thankful for all the help in the community and all the people wanting to be on our show. And as we move, you'll find that announcement will come out Wednesday night on where our next stop for next week will be. It's sort of last minute, but we already have some guests lined up, so stay tuned to that. And hey, guys, we got to go to Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, brother, I always tell you, man, it's I feel like I'm in the studio audience sometimes when you get to talk, and I forget I'm part of the. Yeah, I enjoy it so much, I forget I'm part of all of this.
Well, that's why I try not to talk too much when you guys are going back and forth.
That was a great update, man. I enjoyed that.
Thank you. I have one more for the end of the show. I'll be doing a TV show tomorrow night on the internet. So finish your Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's
Way
Almanac.
to steal the shine from
I
the
know.
Fiction and
I'm
Fact.
sorry. Jeez.
But you know, we sometimes we put out updates, and most of the times updates go out on the internet or Facebook. But I definitely always hit my partner Al Levine, the talking machine. I was excited in 2012, the draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers told me they wanted to replace Antonio Brown, who was going into his 3rd year in 2012. And they wanted to replace him as a punt returner because he came up in 2010, 11.
Okay.
So the 2012 draft would have been his 3rd year.
Okay.
So they wanted to replace him, and he had already been a Pro Bowler and Pro Bowl, and so they wanted to replace him as a punt returner. And there was a kid from Florida International that Pittsburgh Steelers never heard of, and I said he was the best punt returner I've ever seen in my life. And he was right up there with Deion Sanders, prime time. And, of course, the Steelers passed on him. And I think that he is still being underused in the National Football League because he's not returning punt and kickoff returns. But last Thursday, for the Indianapolis Colts, T.Y. Hilton had 223 yards in terms of receptions. He's the number one go-to receiver for Andrew Luck. And just looking at some of his stats, and I still can't understand why he started as a rookie, and I still can't understand why he went as low as he did in the draft. But just look at some of his numbers. In 2.5 years, he has 172 receptions for 2,548 yards. Boy, would he look good on the other side of Antonio Brown right now. Last year, he had 82 catches for 1,100 yards. As a rookie, he had 50 catches for 900 yards. So far this year, he's on pace for 1,600 yards. He got 40 receptions for 600 yards. But then I look back at some of his pre-draft numbers, and maybe that's for a black kid, he only had a 35-inch vertical jump, which he's only about 5'9", 5'10". And, most of the brothers can get up close to 40-inch vertical jumps. So maybe that slid him a little bit in the draft because evidently they wasn't watching film on this kid like I did. And he only did 7 reps with 225 pounds, which is not bad. But, it's not an outstanding number in terms of NFL. So that was my pick for the Steelers in the 2012 draft that they thoroughly ignored. And congratulations again, T.Y. Hilton.
What is
Thanks.
What is
Thanks.
T.Y. Hilton ever won? Huh? What has he ever won? The nada.
That's why we have opinions. Those facts and numbers don't mean
The
anything.
bear woke up out of hibernation.
Means absolutely
You know, he's
nothing.
feeling sick today. He's a little under the weather.
He has won absolutely nothing in this league. So
You don't like Andrew Luck either? He
No,
hasn't won anything?
No.
he hates anybody
So
that hasn't won
you shouldn't
anything.
draft anybody because they haven't won anything?
Oh no, there's plenty of winners out there. Just go to the SEC. Just don't pick the SEC Defensive Player of the Year.
Why wouldn't you? He was a winner. This theory went right in the toilet. He's going back to sleep, folks. What happened there? What team was he on?
Who?
Too slow or whoever.
Don't worry about
What did he
SEC
win?
Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, what did he win? Awards. Biggest award you can get as a defensive player. That ain't bad.
I don't. That's not the. That's just. There's a difference. There's like different awards named after great players for
Right.
defense. He didn't get that award. He just got the SEC. He got the conference defensive player of the year. He didn't get the
Yeah, but
nation
how many
best
get that
defensive
award?
player.
How many
I
get
think
that
that
in the
went to
best
Clowney,
conference
and
of
they're
the
and
year?
they're both probably equally as bust. You know,
Whoa.
they both are cut from the same cloth. Wink, wink.
Well,
But,
don't any awards mean anything? There's only like one award or
There's
something. means
one
anything?
trophy, and it's named after one of the great head coaches of the game.
Lombardi.
And it's Vince Lombardi. That's what it's all about. All that other stuff is meaningless. Records meaningless. Everything is meaningless. The only thing that counts is on January 31st, 28th, February 2nd, whenever Fox decides to broadcast the Super Bowl. That's what's important.
Even February
Hoisting
sometimes.
that trophy is the pinnacle. That's what everything should be focused around. Not extending meaningless records or. I don't care how it gets done. We could win ugly every week. All I care about is the W. Like, that's it. I don't care about records. I don't care about stats and stat boys and stat lines. All I care about is wins and
Yeah, but
losses.
you're a huge Big Ben fan. He's been a stat man. And one of his Super Bowl things, according to you, he won it, but with
But
the
he played
lowest
terrible.
quarterback rating ever, even though a couple games before he
Doesn't
had
that
good
fit
games.
into my thing, though?
Yeah, and then one of the greatest quarterbacks means nothing to you. Grew up here right near you.
Dan Marino.
I know, you have no
Correct.
respect for him because he didn't win a Super Bowl.
You don't
That's
respect
very-
Marino?
I have respect for players that never hoisted the trophy, but I'm just saying that if you never hoisted it, there's just certain talk that you just have to be quiet. Like, Dan Marino could be one of the all-time greatest quarterbacks ever, but he's not in the biggest games on the biggest stages. He never won. So if you could ask Dan Marino, and I could already answer this for you, would you rather give back records and all that stuff and hoist the trophy? You could bet your bottom dollar that Dan Marino would rather hoist the Lombardi trophy
Especially
than
that
be.
most of his records he's given back because Manning and Brett Favre broke them. But
Yeah.
yeah, I know what you mean now.
up until 2000. Let's go to 2000 because Manny.
I never thought
Manny
anybody would break his
until
record.
98, but
And then Randy Moss and
I was just going there, too.
And Brady broke his touchdown record.
I was just
never
going there,
thought
too.
that was gonna be broken.
and New England hasn't been the same since. Without
I think
a deep threat.
they changed some of those rules too. Make it easier to catch and throw.
Although the
That's
actual
what I think.
the actual professional football record has not been broken yet. I don't believe. What did I think the Brady put 50 with Peyton Manning put like 51. So
what?
that's not the record. Does anybody know what the record is for most touchdown passes in the season?
So we can find out.
He can Google that now.
I know what it is. So And I'm
what
better,
is it
and I'm
then?
better than Google. Go ahead, you look it up.
Okay.
That'll
Why don't
be.
you tell
We'll
us?
save that to the last couple of minutes before Al make his announcement, and I'll let you know what the professional football record.
We got
for most
14 minutes
touchdown
left.
passes, and you know who he is. You probably had a beer with him. It's not Johnny Unitas.
He didn't know him that.
But the record hasn't been broken. I don't think it'll never be broken.
Really?
Yeah.
Little suspense. He's Googling as fast as he can. I'm glad that.
I'm
phone
better
rang.
than Google. This is
On
just
certain
proof.
things.
Yeah, on certain things, I'm better than Google.
Definitely. We got the Tiger. Tiger's giving him a thumbs up.
That's right, my buddy.
That's his man. He'll ride you home. Don't worry. Whether you thumbs up or not. We know what goes on here. I'm a conspiracy guy. There's conspiracies everywhere. I'm seeing them tonight. Go Steelers. I just want to know where heavy money is against Houston. That's what I want to hear.
No, you know what? I wouldn't put any money on that particular game, but there'll be heavy money on something.
Oh, really?
Come Sunday, yeah.
Really, just something. Well, can I carry some of that heavy money
You
after
sure
this past
can.
week?
And we can stay away from the Pitt Virginia Tech game, you know.
Well, you have to stay away from that.
Well, wait a second here. Do we want to go, or do we want to wait for the end?
You can go.
Go
You
now.
can go. Like I already
Most
told you,
touchdowns in a single season record is 50 by Tom Brady and New England Patriots in 2007, followed by a second place 49 Peyton Manning with the Colts in 2004, and Oakland's own Pitt's very own Dan Marino has 48 in
No,
third.
I thought Peyton Manning went past. He didn't go past 49 last year.
Nope.
Okay, good. Then the record is real clear.
And then the all-time most touchdown passes for a career goes
Warren
to
Moon.
Brett Favre with 442, and then Marino got 420, one of
420.
Blunt and
They got
Bell's
over
favorite numbers.
500. How old is that Google search?
You know
Brett
what?
Favre had 500.
Yeah, and
so does Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning's at like 506 now.
Yeah, I think Peyton Manning had 50 or 51.
This
We
is
got-
NFL.com.
Wow, they're behind.
I'm pretty
they
sure
just
it's
showed on TV
NFL.com.
the other day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Peyton.
Well, folks, we need somebody to call in 412-831.
But the record will never
3304.
be broken.
And
the true record will never be
Who
broken.
has it? Warren Moon or somebody?
No, Warren Moon doesn't have it. Warren Moon doesn't have it, but you heard of the guy that have it. You probably had a beer with this guy.
I don't know. I'm not a big drinker of this beer stuff. Since you never had a taste. All right, no more suspense. We got 11 minutes to go. Tell us now.
Well, I'll wait. I'll
His
let
Google's
Z,
out of control.
I'll let little Z see where Peyton Manning was last year. I'm pretty sure he went past Tom Brady, but I'm not sure.
Well, I'll give my little announcement that I'll be on a show called Conscious Evolution Media tonight or tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.
Wow.
There's a lady called Ninon, and she's in Las Vegas.
A lot of ladies with you.
I understand, but it'll be tomorrow at 9 p.m. and it'll be on the internet, so you can go to Google Plus Hangouts. You can go Google it, and if you get a better one than that one, you can find Google it's Conscious, CONSCIOUS. I'm reading again. Evolution, EVOLUTION, Media. That's how simple it is. I'll post it up on Pittsburgh Sportsline. But I'll be talking about Al Levine, the talking machine, and Pittsburgh Sportsline. So we'll get some
great.
international and worldwide coverage there.
Can you send me the link in case I
Yeah, I don't have it
all
yet,
that
but I'll try to.
All right.
If you go to
Let's
Pittsburgh
adjust this.
Sportsline on Facebook, then you
Let's adjust it.
What
Okay,
happened?
thanks.
But none of us none of us drank a beer with Peyton Manning though. Who
Why
now
does he have
he
it?
has 55.
He got
He bro-
55?
Yeah, he broke it last year by
Who do
5.
you think had it?
It was Tom Brady 2, Peyton Manning again is now 3. So he's third and first.
Well, Peyton Manning's number 1 all time. This guy I'm talking about is number 2. He had 54. Wow, I didn't think Peyton Manning had 55.
Who had 54?
He had 54.
Is
Who
that
had
real?
54? He's not in
that's
here.
right. Huh?
He's not in here.
He's in here. I told you I'm better than Google, man.
We
I'll
got
bring
so
it up.
many crazy things I can't keep track
Holy
of this.
smokes.
Jim Kelly in the USFL for the Houston Gamblers had 54. Just like Herschel Walker's record will never be broken. He had 2,400 yards in one season in the USFL. Never be broken. That's a pro football record.
The USFL.
If you understood, he said pro football record.
The USFL.
Yeah,
Pro football.
he said pro football.
The semi-pro count.
They get paid.
Reggie White, Steve
I was
Young,
just
all that was in
I was
there.
just named assistant head football coach of the
Breaking
Pittsburgh
news.
Gladiators,
Really?
which
Congratulations.
will be making their debut in 2015.
I
What
just
league?
wish
What
this
league?
is for all the Amish assassin, Little Z, Big Z, Jim Aj, whoever watches the show. There was a team going to be called, what was it called? The Assassins?
Pittsburgh Assassins.
Pittsburgh Assassins. So I happened to be talking to Little Z. I said, that'd be perfect if you'd be a coach on that team. A couple days later, he goes, I'm a defensive coach on that team. And then I said, who's the head coach? Well, he can say who the head coach is.
Coach Miller, Coach Bill Miller.
Oh, yeah?
Then,
Head
like
coach.
I suspected, a couple days later, the name of the team changed. And he goes, how do you come up with this stuff? I said, no problem, Zach. Good luck to you. Head coach of the Gladiators.
You're the head coach.
Assistant head coach.
Well, soon to be.
Assistant head coach. I went from defensive coordinator of the Assassins to assistant head coach of the.
Smoking Jim, I got
Gladiators.
inside information on conspiracies. Wait and see what happens with this team. All right? I saw something happen. The template is set, as they say. Look at the other team that's not going to be named now because I'll protect the guilty, and I don't want to. So who knows what happens. Good luck to you. Good luck to the team. I don't really have much to go on except the facts of knowing people, and they seem to be true to the same colors that they run with. So we will see. Time will tell, as they say. Any other things on your mind since we've been all over the place? You guys let me talk too
we
much.
We talked last night at Sips for the second of our finales at Sips about Showcase Barbecue in Homewood. And me and Al Levine, wouldn't you know it, we just happened to go to Homewood this afternoon and got some Showcase.
Met the owner,
Got some Showcase
Drew
Barbecue.
Allen,
Really?
and he was out there talking.
Y'all
I
bring a
said,
brother a bone or two?
I
I
told
ate
you, your
him.
boy right here.
Sorry,
is
buddy.
vicious.
He seasons
He's
stuff
vicious.
up. Smoking Jim, I know you're a no ketchup guy, one of the few guys I know in Pittsburgh and America doesn't put ketchup on anything. He had what he called nasty wings because he's eaten so many, he called them nasty wings. And Zach always promotes me that I'm not afraid to ask for a meal or something to try. So I said, could I try one of those nasty wings? He goes, you don't want to, but get him a nasty wing. It was one of the best wings I had. A little bit of spice.
Really?
But he makes so many of them, Drew's sick of them. So he goes, go ahead. Meanwhile, he's eating a couple. That's why I go, if you're eating them and they're nasty, I want to eat one of those.
Wow.
And then he gave Zach one. I don't know how Zach rode on my coattails on that. He brought me there.
Wow.
You know me, I don't expect or look for anything, extra or special or anything like that. So once Levine went in, that just basically opened Pandora's box. So I had to get myself a nasty wing because I'm like, wait a second. This is my boy. Like, give me a wing. But Drew actually said to me, he said, you want one? Because everybody knows me. Like, I worked down at the waterfront. I won't give you the date or the time. At the Giant Eagle at the waterfront for 1 year. And this was when the waterfront first opened up. And a lot of Steelers at the time stayed down there
Yeah,
at the
because they
waterfront.
lived across the street.
Correct. They stayed down at the waterfront apartments. And they all loved me because I was the only employee in Giant Eagle that did not bother them. Didn't hound them for an autograph. Talked to them
Really?
like regular people. So I made a lot of friends. I made good friends with Larry Foote.
What
Ferrier,
you tell him? I'll be
James
playing with
Ferrier,
y'all in about 5 years.
Kia Montu.
Well, I found out what he did. That scale, you can adjust it. Every pound was 2 pounds. They loved them like you can't believe. And the statute of limitations is over and the scales have been recalibrated.
Thanks. Now I'm going to be subjected to a lawsuit from Giant Eagle.
I didn't say where you worked.
No,
You did.
I didn't adjust the scales or anything like that. I just.
How could you?
I'm
You
just
were a young
myself.
kid.
I've never been starstruck. A good friend of mine, Charlie Batch, was basically paved the way for a few of us Still Valley guys. He opened the door, and we're just following after. So
I know I can't get him off the show now. He's muscling his way in there. He's doing interviews with champion Rod Salka. Check that interview out. Great interview.
Wait for the next one, which is going to be Karma Worthy, the Death Star.
That's what I hear out at the Fight Club.
We're going to go
Pittsburgh
check him
Fight
out
Club.
before November 26th. And I got Call Greb Boxing Club invitation extended, so we're going to get out there and check out those fellas.
And Smoking Jim, they want us to come out Tuesday nights, and I said, we're a little bit busy. They said, how about Saturday mornings? We haven't made a Saturday morning, but we're invited, as usual.
Great.
So he'll tell us.
So it's on the list. And go check out that interview, that exclusive one-on-one interview with Lightning Rod Salka.
Folks, he wants, no wink wink, but he wants some people to say that they've seen it. He's trying to get those numbers up. He got to beat 980 to get the most watched video this year.
Which belongs to?
Pittsburgh Sportsline.
And which event?
It was a regular show Monday night.
Oh, really? Who was on it? Like, what was so...
Al Levine and Smoking Jim Frazier.
Oh, yeah? Just yins two?
We have a competition going here. I think Zach Brenner was there. We had a guest that helped pump that out, who will remain nameless right now, but...
Wink, wink.
No, wink, wink. But Zach, I think, was on that show. I'm not sure.
What's with all the secrecy? You know, why can't we just?
Well, because you told me to liven stuff up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So I figure when I
whenever I want to know something, that's when we decide to pull that card.
Well, you've been hammering me for about 6 months to do something, and I just figured on a third-year anniversary,
all right,
just to do it there because you like putting it out, and I've just been teasing you a little bit. You can. What I want people is to watch it. I'm trying to get it to 1,000, so I'll put that one back out again.
And who's on that show?
You are.
Who else?
Charlie Goddard.
That's the show that's over 900 likes right now?
Yeah.
Where I patted him down.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
That's why I wasn't
Uncle Fester
telling.
and the chicken wings?
That's why I'm not telling you. You didn't like that show. So why would I tell you that it was such a great show? You'd have hated it.
As long as it's gonna take us over the hump against Fury, you would know about that if you came to the BPTV awards ceremony.
Smoking Jim will be there this year.
I hope so. I hope to see him there.
It's usually around the last week of December. Try it. And this is Frazier, Smoking Jim's mom, who he didn't introduce me at Savoy last year. And I appreciate your compliments.
Your mom was at Savoy?
And Dad.
What?
And I didn't meet him.
She's like, "What? Al Levine's handsome."
And
I didn't meet him either.
I know. That's how he rolls.
Well, okay, that's great.
I met every cousin of his
That's
and
great.
a couple extras.
I know.
And please let your son come out to Bethel Park and be with us. He can eat. We'll just get him plain chicken, maybe a couple vegetables, no greens because he doesn't like the seasoning on them. But we'll be all right.
You know, I get real upset when I think about that Pittsburgh Social Exchange golf event.
Why? What happened?
Because this man, not only did he eat one plate inside, then somehow he convinced these folks that he didn't eat that plate and then he needed another plate. So shout out to Bob Crescent for making sure that Jim Frazier got another plate.
Yes.
So we didn't even get to broadcast that show technically, but Jim Frazier ate real well and he came late. He didn't even have to be in the sun all day.
Hey, Zach,
I love his style.
He ate more than I did that day.
I know he
we're
did.
almost out of time. Thanks to Bob Crescent for the Al Levine talking machine on Pittsburgh Sportsline. Keeps my boys jealous of me, so it helps. I like that. Thanks, everybody, for listening to us. Thanks, Bethel Park, for letting us on air live. First show in 9 years it's live in Bethel Park. Thank all of you. You're welcome to our new venues. Come out and see us. Thanks, John the Tiger Kiger, your mother Mary, for always liking us and stuff. Devin Shea, he's unbelievable. He's just a great military guy. And I know he's paying attention because we got 5, 4, 3. Have a good night. Be safe out there. See you next week.